Hello and welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. We're heading into June, so I thought it might be a good time to give you an update on my wildlife pond, which is situated in the wildlife corner of my garden. Now, bear in mind that I only created this garden 3 years ago and it's become very well established very quickly. So in this video, I'll give you a guided tour and I'll also explain some of the elements why I believe this has become established so quickly. We've already had a colony of great crested newts, and even this morning I've seen damselflies, dragonflies and wide-bodied dragonflies, and I'll try and get those on video today. Right, so I'll get hold of the camera and I'll give you a guided tour and explain the elements of my wildlife garden. Now, my wildlife garden, which includes my wildlife pond, is entered through this gap between these two little sculptures here. There's also two tree ferns which mark the entrance. The point I would like to make is the fact that that corner of my garden is about as far as it possibly can be from the house and the lane and any human traffic. So when people are at work or away on holiday or out of the house, this area of the garden is left completely undisturbed, and that gives nature a sense of ownership, I believe. Now, I did create some mounds here into which I've planted some shrubs and some small trees, and the idea is that that will cordon off this area of the garden. Okay, so let's go inside. You will notice that there is some work in progress, and I'll explain that in a moment, and I'll explain why it's not progressed quite as much as I would have hoped. Before we go any further, mature hedges. Mature hedges for wildlife to shelter in, hide in for safety, nest in, live in. And that, I think, is another element why this garden has become established quite quickly. The hedges, by the way, are also a wildlife corridor. They stretch beyond the garden and they give a safe passage, a safe route for wildlife to enter. Don't forget that just beyond there is open countryside. I'll go up there in a moment and have a look over that hedge, but beyond there is open countryside. And about a 200-metre distance from my garden is the local canal. Right, work in progress. I dug these trenches here. They're supposed to look like a moat, and they will eventually be filled with water. The reason they've not progressed, and this is not just an excuse, it's actual fact, in the far corner of this one is a Victorian rubbish dump. And I know that there are some rare bottles in there, so I want to get in there and dig it out before I actually fill this with water. But you have my commitment that this will be done, or at least a material and significant part of it will be finished before the end of June. And that's for people like Jack and Scott who've asked about that, and I've promised them in the past that it will be done, and it will be, don't worry. Right, let's move on to the wildlife pond. Water, another essential element in a wildlife garden. Water. You put water in a garden, it just sustains so much life. And so I've put a wildlife pond. Now this is 6 metres across, nearly a metre deep in the middle. I dug it with a spade and a wheelbarrow by hand. It took me about 9 months to dig, but now that it's dug and it's full, I hope you would agree that it's become established very, very quickly. I hid the liner with boulders and I've allowed long grass to remain around the outside. Again, long grass for the wildlife to hide in. If you want wildlife in your garden, don't have it too tidy. Now, in terms of pond plants, there's a trick. If you want wildlife in your water, it's got to get in there. So have some of these reeds, anything with a vertical element that allows the wildlife to land on and go down into the water. When it goes down there, it will probably lay eggs in the water, which will become larvae. Those larvae will go through that larval stage, and then they will climb out of the same reeds. Interesting, look at this one down here though. Talk about biodiversity. This one here, absolutely covered in black fly. Hope you can get that on camera. And that can stay there because that is part of the food chain, all part of the ecology. And whilst we're down here, you may or may not notice that there's lots of bees. And the bees come down here to rehydrate on these hot sunny days. A couple of little sculptures I bought recently there, which I thought were in keeping with the style. Now, you may not see this, But right in front of me are some damson flies. Is it damson or damsel? Damsel, I think. And they have been laying their eggs in here. So underneath the water, there will already be damselfly nymphs, which will be developing into our future crop of damselflies. I've also seen wide-bodied dragonflies and normal brown dragonflies this morning. Hopefully I will capture those on camera as well. They're very difficult to get on camera because they're small and fleeting and they move around very quickly. Right, so mature hedges for the wildlife to hide in. And pollinators love buddleia. These are buddleia butterfly bushes here, and in about a month's time they'll be covered in lots of blossom. I prune those down every year to the ground, and the off-cuttings get left in a pile here, and it's become a twig pile. Again, biodiversity, you've got to create lots of different elements and environments. That's been there now, it's been piled up for 3 years, and every year I add more. And at the bottom of that will be rotten twigs, and in those rotten twigs there will be all kinds of insects and invertebrates. We have had already a colony of great crested newts in my wildlife pond. It's a source of great pride for me. Great crested newts are an endangered species, and if you want to see my great crested newts, I have done videos of them. I've got a little underwater camera and I've got some footage of them, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box below this one. Can you see there? Look at that, lots of water boatmen underneath the surface, just fleeting around, taking in the rays and possibly waiting for some prey. And look at these irises. Flag iris, yellow flag iris is a native iris to the UK. Okay, so a twig pile and also a log pile, a dead wood pile. Dead wood is so incredibly important in a wildlife garden, and you'll see why when I show you this down here. Look at these fungi, and underneath there's all kinds of crevices and gaps for wildlife to crawl into and both hibernate or just shelter and live in safety. Underneath here is a hibernaculum. There's a video on my channel. I dug out a big pit, you fill it full of rocks and crocks and bits of broken pottery, cover it in roofing felt, then bury it, and you put an entrance of a soil pipe into it, and that's under there, and I'm sure it's used by hundreds of different varieties of species. Nettles. Always leave a crop of nettles in your garden. Great for the butterflies and the caterpillars and butterflies to lay eggs on, because of course eggs and caterpillars, whilst you wouldn't want them on your veg plot, I should say, are a great source of food in the food chain. So leave them be. Don't dig up all your nettles. My lovely Buddha there, the Buddha sculpture, overlooking the pond, and sometimes when you go over that side, oh, blackbird's just come in for a drink there. We'll stand still and we'll see what happens with the blackbird. I'll try not to scare it away. And whilst the blackbird is there, one of those dragonflies has just landed on a branch right in front of me down here. You've got to be so still with the dragonflies because they will very easily be scared off. Can you see the blackbird on the rock just here? I'm going to stay still because it will either, went up for an insect, but I'm quite sure we'll come back down. What's it doing? Is it doing some kind of courtship dance? Is it trying to scare me away? Is it catching insects? What's it doing? Bird life. Can you see it jumping up and down? I think it's catching insects in midair. Now there's that dragonfly again. I hope this is not boring for you, and I hope I'm capturing something. There's the blackbird, and just above its head there is a dragonfly buzzing round. If I stand still long enough, that might come close to me. The blackbird is underneath the gunnera. It's landed on the gunnera pot now. Isn't it dramatic? Let's go down there, we'll see that blackbird. And there it is. In fact, I don't even know if it knows I'm here yet. Hopefully it will come almost within arm's reach. And here is a wide-bodied dragonfly. wide-bodied dragonfly just here. It's blue, and its body is about a centimetre wide, and if I keep still now, it's landed on a branch right in front of me. Can you see that? If you sit still long enough, you might just get to see what you want to see. And I'm very slowly bringing the camera closer and closer. I'm hoping the dragonfly is in shot, and I actually have no idea whatsoever. But I'm getting closer and closer, and I'm trying to go over the back. And it flew away, got nervous and disappeared. It's landed on a branch over there. Here it is again. It's back again. We'll do the same thing again. We'll wait patiently. I've got blackbird, I've got sparrow, I've got finch having a drink at the water's edge. It's quite wonderful. I am aware that I've become completely distracted by looking at the wildlife instead of actually explaining to you the elements of the wildlife garden, but I have to say, I personally find this much more enjoyable. Now here's an ordinary dragonfly just flying past here. Can you see it? Wonderful. Right, I digress. Let's go up this little path of steps here, and we'll have a look back at the wildlife garden from up at the top of this mound. Look at these beautiful poppies. Aren't they incredible? Wonderful. And there's the obelisk I made out of a pallet. This is a wildflower meadow, by the way, which I sowed 2 years ago, and I haven't sowed it since. And a lot of those wildflowers are perennial and self-seeding, so in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, this will be a mass of flowers which will be loved by the pollinators. Okay, we're going to go up here behind and show you a view of the open countryside beyond my garden. Right, eventually there will be a viewing platform up here, but as you can see over there we have fields, and just in the distance over there is a bridge which goes over the canal. All the elements you need to bring wildlife to the garden. Okay, let's get an aerial view from up here. So, just getting back to the elements of a successful wildlife pond, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is sloping edges. Now I have hedgehogs in my garden, and you want to give them the opportunity to escape should they fall into the water. So you have to have a sloping edge coming out like that. Wide-bodied dragonfly, and just here in front of me is another dragonfly, and down there are 2 damselflies, the blue ones. I don't know if you can see them. Look at this now. I'm waiting incredibly patiently in the hope that one of these dragonflies will just land in front of me so that we can get a nice view. And there it has landed. But can the camera see it? Can you see that? It's almost like nature is listening to me and rewarding me for putting in a wildlife garden and a wildlife pond. I'll just gently try and go closer and closer. No, he's gone. He's in midair. Look at that. Imagine the footage you could get with one of those cameras with a high-speed shutter on it. Well, technology which is beyond me, I'm afraid. Right, okay. So we've got twig pile, we've got log pile, we've got hibernaculum, we've got plants for pollinators, we've got dense hedges, wildlife corridors, we've got water, we've got a shallow edge for mammals to climb out if they fall in. We've got a variety of different plants. We've got 2/3 of the water surface covered in greenery, which stops too much of the sun's ultraviolet rays getting through and causing blooms of algae. In there we have frogs, toads, newts, and we have now got efts, which is the stage of the newt development before it comes out of the pond. There we go. And eventually, in the very near future, we will have some canals. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed that guided tour of my wildlife pond and wildlife garden, and I do hope that when I get to editing this footage, I've got some wonderful footage of some beautiful dragonflies to share with you. Please do follow and subscribe my channel, hit the notifications bell, and I'll see you soon for some more wildlife pond adventures. Bye for now.